Hey, what up, YouTube? Is this your boy, the Card Tactician, and welcome to another episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever. This is the Part 3 to the Gravekeepers September 12th, September 2012 format. This is the segment's going to talk about the extra deck and how it's underutilized and what monsters I feel Gravekeeper players should be putting in their extra deck to deal with the current meta. To start off, you have Roach. You know what he does. Negates level 5 and higher special summon monsters. Good against Chaos Dragons, Fairies, pretty much that, and a few other decks that I can't remember off the top of my head right now. Black Ship of Corn. It froze. God damn it, stop freezing. Black Ship of Corn. I don't see people talking about this. This guy is good. He is the Zen Main's killer. You special summon him, detach a material from him, target a monster, send it to the grave, not destroy, sends it to the grave, and then your opponent burns for 1,000. He is the, remove problematic monster that thinks it can stop you from attacking from off the field. He is that good. Maestro, you know what he does. He's a walking moon. He's a walking Book of Moon on a stick. Utopia Ray. He's basically a replacement for Utopia. Once Utopia uses materials, Utopia. Pap. You know what he does. I like this guy. He's basically a walking Book of Sun. Minus 600 attack. Again, he's also another option to getting rid of certain problematic monsters on the field. My favorite, Shockmaster. I personally use this guy as a focal point in getting out in my Gravekeeper deck because once I have him and Stardust Dragon, it gives me technically complete control over the field. I suggest using at least one of him, if not two, in the Gravekeeper deck. Next, Ivagishiki Marigeist. I do not see people using him. This guy is another tech monster that I'm surprised that no one has ever talked about. Basically, he's if I'm fighting against a mirror match, I get rid of my opponent's Gravekeeper recruiters off the field and back into the deck. If I'm fighting against a Sangan or anything that revolves around the graveyard, he gets rid of TG Hyper, or whatever these guys are, the ones that once they get destroyed and goes to the graveyard, you search your deck for another one, put it into your hand. He deals with that. He's really good. Abyss Dweller. You know what he does. There's a lot of talk about him in the meta. He basically counters a lot of shit that's being played right now. Mermail and the Mermail Lantean hybrid decks. Dark Worlds in general. He's just that good. He's also good, believe it or not, in gadgets. If you use Tinplay Goldfish, I put my friend onto him, and not realizing that my friend hates my Dark World's guts. And he just goes, you know what? I'm gonna put this guy in, and Tinplay Goldfish is actually water, so you will get the 500 attack boost, so that he'll survive on the field. He'll be a 2200 that says, no graveyard effects. Gemini Pearl. A lot of decks use him as a throw-in, but he's really good because a lot of the boss monsters in the game currently at the moment is like 25 and under. To a certain extent, basically certain synchros and certain XYZs. So he's basically I summon him, and there are certain XYZs that are 4 and lower that can't really deal with him. So he's good in that respect. Zen Meister, people run one of him. I think you should run two. He's that good. Why? Because he gives you an option if you open up with Spy to go off on the offensive with a really explosive play. What do you mean? I said Spy, play. No, you know what? Just set Spy. They attack. I flip Spy. I get a 4-star monster to the field. I have a 4-star monster to my hand. Now, when it's my turn, I can either go, you know what? I'm going to summon my Recruiter or Descendant, pop some cards on the field, or I can go, you know what? What's the situation right now? Am I fighting Dark Worlds? If I am, go into Abyss Dweller. Am I fighting some type of stall deck that I can't deal with? Okay, let me go into this guy, Black Ship of Corn. Am I fighting some super aggressive deck? Okay, let me go into Utopia. Am I fighting a deck that likes to special summon beast-stick monsters onto the field? Let me go into Steel Swarm Roach. It really is that good. And I don't think people really abuse it that much to understand how good it is. And besides that, the usual Stardust Dragon, Ancient Fairy Dragon, which I don't think people are using because it gives you more utility. You gain life and you get a field spell. There are certain situations where people will pop your field spell, and if you run Gale in the deck, which I do, it gives you the option to go into him. Arcanine Magician, basic staple in extra deck. If you're running Gale, pops 2 cards, and then you just either tribute him off, or he's just a 1800 wall defense monster. I play Wonder Wands in my deck, so he's never like really useless when I get him out. These are other extra deck XYZ monsters you can use. I personally don't feel that they're that good, but it's an option on whether or not you think it's useful. Kachikochi Dragon. He's good if you play a deck based around him and other monsters. I have a Gravekeeper deck where I use this guy, Heroic Champion Twin Edge or Twin Blade, where whenever you XYZ with him, that monster gets an extra 1,000 attack permanently. him becoming 3,000 and being able to attack twice is good. Next, Gaga. A lot of people are talking about him. I personally don't feel he's that good. You can pretty much do the same shit with him by, playing, let's say, this guy, because the only monsters you can really take care of are 25 and under. If the monster's like 3,000, like say if it's a Chaos Soldier, you can bump heads with it, but that's pretty much it. This guy, I believe, he just takes care of more things. And plus, once you get his effect off that one time, he's just sitting duck. He's just a 1,500 attack monster for that turn, and that's it. This guy, he's 26, and you just punch and run over anything. But, to each his own. This chick, I technically think she's the worst, one of the worst XYZ monsters in the game. You have to build a deck around her. If you do, it might be hot. I don't know. Lavalvo Chain, one of the hottest talked about monsters in the game. Particularly for certain decks, like if you play a Gem Knight Fusion deck. Zombie decks in general. There are so many decks that you can run this guy in, and he just has so much utility. I would suggest running any extra deck. I just don't have room for him, and to tell you the truth, he wouldn't have that much of a purpose in my deck, just besides getting Spy, and that's it. And even still, if I have a Spy set already, and then I use his effect, I think that's just a waste of a good Spy flip effect in general. That's it for now. The next section is going to be about cards that I think people should test out in the main deck. There's like 5 or 6 of them in a Gravekeeper deck that I think are interesting. I've seen some people playing the OCG, and the OCG is hot. People don't pay attention to it, but I think people should, because there are a lot of good ideas that they have over there. I mean, motherfuckers created the game. Of course, they're going to be better and more creative in this game than we are. But, there are so many cards and ideas that can be put into the Gravekeeper deck to make it more better or more efficient, or just give you more options in general when you want to play. Alright, that's it. Take care. Deuces.